Good afternoon. Good evening. It's evening for me. Depending on where you are in the world, it's a different time zone. You are having coffee with a neuroscientist. I am a neuroscientist and success strategist. And today I wanted to talk about what's happening in the world. There's so much going on in the world, right? So my mission is to empower 1 billion coaches, leaders, influencers, and advanced thinkers to change the world, change humanity to the next level of this human experience. We got a lot of work to do, y'all. It's time to up our game. Okay, so today I'm actually talking about what's happening in the world as it relates to our brain technology. Okay, and technology itself, the impact of technology on our neural technology, the impact on social issues on our neural technology, the impact of social media on our neural technology, and all those things. And then I'm going to tell you what is up with the OptiMind Institute, all the things that we will be doing in the near future and the far out future. So grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your wine. I know it's kind of late for some of you in the US. I normally have a coffee curfew at 3-ish. Yeah, someone said we have a lot of work to do. Yes. But I have a lot of work to do tonight. So it's going to be one of those long nights. So that's why I'm having coffee right now. The reason I'm doing this coffee with the neuroscientist this evening is because I have updated how I want to show up in the world. Okay. And there's always lots of questions. You guys ask me questions in my comments and I don't always get around to it. So this is a place I could just answer some questions. Okay. So if you do have questions, put them in the comments. I'll be keeping an eye on the comments. So I decided I started to get bored with my Coffee with the Neuroscientist podcast. And I finally figured out why. It was because I was doing it like everybody else. Now, if you have watched my live stream, my training on the power of the adult learning brain, you know some things about how the adult learning brain likes to be stimulated. And so I figured, I said, I love training and talking about things and talking about the world and how it impacts the brain and the world. So why am I not being consistent with my podcast episodes? So I had to dig deep. Okay. Just because we are not consistent at something doesn't mean we're lazy, people. Because once again, if you understand the adult learning brain, you know your brain wants to be very intentional about how it uses its mental time and energy, right? And only wants to do the things that will light up your existing neural pathways, your strengths and your talents and your skill sets that light you up on this part of your journey, right? Because we have less connections as adults than our younger selves, right? But that's all intentional. That's very intentional by nature. Okay. So anywho, I realized I was getting bored and I started digging deeper. And here's what I noticed about myself. I like to talk about a lot of different things. So even though I have dynamic conversations with the people that I interview, and sometimes I do my podcast alone, and they are powerful, I will say. I actually like to talk about different topics as well. So I'm actually revamping how I do Coffee with the Neuroscientist, the podcast. And I'm going to talk about, brain stuff, but modern ideas, modern issues that are currently impacting our brains, our neurotechnology, but also what the trajectory is going to look like. What does the future look like with incorporating some of these technologies, or if we continue on the path of some of these issues that keep impacting humans? Okay, so I am not a normal neuroscientist, y'all. You should know that by now, right? If you've been following me. You're not going to get this is what the brain does. And this part of the brain, it does this, right? We need to go deeper than that. If I wanted to be that kind of trainer about the brain, I would have stayed in the neuroscience lab, okay? I want to bring neuroscience so that it resonates with you, that it impacts you, that you can apply it, and that it widens your perspectives and deepens your understanding about this human experience. And I think I'm doing an okay job. I think I'm doing a great job, actually. And I'm going to give myself kudos because it took me a long time to get to the place where I can speak at a level that resonates with all kinds of people. So it really doesn't matter who I'm talking to. I can be a chameleon and change how I talk about the brain so that people understand and they're in awe and they go away with their dimensions of thinking forever changed. That is my gift. That is my strength. And every day I keep honing in on it. And so one way I'm going to keep honing in on it is changing up my podcast. So I'm very excited about what has come out. We now have a national suicide hotline, okay, 988. And it just was made available today, and it was in the works for a couple of years. So we are in a mental health crisis, of course, right? Because of just the dynamics of the world, technology. I'm not sure what's happening with my StreamYard. Okay. With technology, with the pandemic, with the rise of all these social issues that's taking us back to the year 1800. So there are a lot of things impacting us, right? And it's impacting people differently. I think we are all under some kind of crisis, stress, duress, distress. And I don't know why I keep getting these posts. Am I still on? Y'all, can you still see me? Because StreamYard is messing with me today. You can still see me? Okay. Yeah, so regardless of thank you. Regardless if people want to be aware of it or not, it is still at some level affecting your nervous system, impacting how you're making decisions, how you're relating to people, how you're showing up in public spaces, right? At some level, your brain is thinking about it if you've been paying attention to what's been going on in the world. And for some people, it's been impacting them more than others. So I'm so glad this suicide prevention hotline is available. And it took the federal government to make this available nationwide because there are some states who have slashed mental health care. My state being one of them, Texas, okay? And they're slashing everything healthcare, right? That will help humanity move forward. So we do need a bigger force to help us at a national level. Just like if there was a hurricane, right? Who are you going to call? The government, FEMA, right? You're going to go crying to them to help you out, right? And they're happy to help you out. So we got to have some balance here, people. Anyways, so make sure you know that I'm a Gen Xer. So I grew up with 911 and 411. Who remembers 411? So now our generation, this next generation, will have 988. And it probably should have been here sooner, but we're not gonna go back to the past. We're not gonna do that to ourselves, okay? And so NAMI talks about NAMI is the National Alliance of Mental Health, okay? And they say half of the people with mental health conditions, that's about 60 million people in the US, um, they go without treatment, right? So this is going to be the bridge to people who are not being treated to having something, right? So when they're in crisis, I mean, unfortunately, we don't want them to be in crisis, but the way this situation is set up, this nation is set up right now, we still need to work on getting people out of crisis or preventing them from getting their period, right? So these are trained crisis helpers, right? Most of them are volunteers who can help people who are in crisis and are thinking about suicide. And so make sure you pass the word on that. Okay, we still need to break the stigma, y'all, about mental health, right? People with mental health just don't go around being violent. All right, that's a myth. Okay, we have a lot of stigma around getting help, right there, and there's a lot of barriers to getting help. It could be financial, it could be just having access, it could be cultural barriers, all these barriers to get help. And that's when people get into crisis mode. So we need something like this until we can get our act together in these other areas. Okay, now when people have mental health, okay, and if you have biases around people with who say they are having mental struggles or diagnosed with something, just know that if 60 million people had broken legs and they didn't get help, that would be a problem, right? Wouldn't you encourage them to go get help? So let's think of mental health the same way. Okay, so put it out in the world. Tell your friends, 988, the suicide prevention line. That was one of my first volunteer positions. I was around 18 or 19, and I volunteered to speak with kids after school because there are a lot of latchkey kids. And so I would help them through with whatever they would talk about, if they were feeling lonely, if they needed help with homework, if they were bullied at school. So this particular hotline is very close to where I started, right? Okay, so, and I also, here's another thing about the hotline. It's new, people, okay? It's new. So there's going to be some quirks. So if you need it, or someone who needs it and they call, make sure to give feedback, to the organization so that they can keep improving. Okay, it's like life. We need feedback so we can improve, right? So give them some grace as they work to work out the kinks, but also help people. I mean, they're probably going to grow super fast. It's because we're in a mental health crisis. So make sure to give them some grace, give them some feedback, right? And just know whoever decides to use this number, it's going to be confidential. They're going to route you to the best person possible. For example, if you're a veteran in a health crisis, a mental health crisis, they're going to send you to a veteran crisis helper. So they're still working some things out, but they're going to do their best to serve you. So let's all work together here, basically, human beings, okay? You are having coffee with the neuroscientist. All right. Someone asked me, why are you on TikTok now? What are the benefits? I've been watching TikTok for a while, and my brain naturally just likes to pick up on. So TikTok is a social media technology, right? And I like to talk about how does technology impact our neural technology, okay? Because I think we need to be having deeper conversations about how to use our brains better. It's not about, what to eat, what to meditate, mindfulness, all that stuff is fine, but we can go deeper. We can go wider with our perspectives. And I don't see many people doing that. And so I'm doing it. So TikTok, why am I on TikTok more significantly? think TikTok is a combination of if YouTube and Instagram Reels had a baby, it would be TikTok. That's how as I've been watching it over the last few years. And you just don't have the same, I would say, like restrictions. It reminds me of Facebook. Like, I like to be my full self on Facebook. I could be my, super smarty pants, on Facebook, but I can also be, old school Gen Xer, mom talking about, teenagers, right? Things of that nature. I can't really do that on LinkedIn. I'm not really a YouTube person, but I get YouTube, right? But it is, of course, a very dynamic platform. And then don't even get me started on Instagram Reels or Instagram itself. That's like a puzzle. It takes 30, 40 minutes to post one thing, but we're going to move forward. But I think TikTok is easier, and the algorithms allow your content to be viewed at an exponentially faster rate. So I've seen people comparing posting on Instagram and then posting on TikTok, and it's not even a contest. Okay, TikTok wipes the floor with with their viewership, and ads on TikTok are so much more easier. It's like 3 buttons really, and then your ad is basically on, and it's cheaper. And mind you, Facebook ads, you can target better. But if you're getting 50 bajillion views on TikTok, right? I mean, I'm just saying, you got to kind of do the math. But, go ahead and test it out. But I like TikTok. I'm starting to, and you don't have to do dances. I know, see, myths, stigmas, stereotypes. It probably kind of started off that way, but there's so many people on there talking about real issues, giving tips on careers and how to speak better and how to take care of your mental health, how to be a better coach. I mean, it's the range of ages and topics. To me, y'all got to put away your stereotypes on this one. Believe me, I've been watching it for years and I've seen it evolve. And I think it's just, there's no comparison on some things. Because I think Facebook Reels and Instagram Reels, it's like a hit or miss. But on TikTok, you could be more targeted on who comes into your feed and what kind of content you want to come into your feed. So I don't know. These are my personal opinions. I like how TikTok works with my brain. My brain likes TikTok. Okay. My brain doesn't speak Instagram. That's why I rarely post on Instagram. My brain speaks Facebook. My brain does speak LinkedIn. I rarely post on LinkedIn because you don't really need to, not as frequently as these other platforms. That's the only thing with TikTok. You got to post to really get a fast acceleration of traction. You got to post a lot, like 2 or 3 times a day or something like that. Oh, go and like my TikTok while I'm talking about TikTok, y'all. I need to get to 1,000 users or followers so I can start going live on TikTok. Okay. Remember, what's my mission? Who gets 10,000 points for saying my mission? Type my mission in the chat. You can also like my YouTube. I might be on there, but I need 1,000 followers on YouTube to go live, because that's the thing, y'all. I like going live. So another reason I was getting bored with doing my Coffee with a Neuroscientist podcast is because I was trying to do it like everyone else, like set up the interview and then interview the people, and then you have to edit, and then you have to upload on all these places, or you can get somebody else to do it. But there's still a lot of things you got to do. You still have to set up the interview and record the interview and do all the the small talk before and after the interview. And then you have to send the recording off. I mean, there's so many steps, and my brain likes to go. That's just how my brain is. So you all have to do this human experience according to how your brain works. And I keep driving that home, and my clients and my students know that's what I do. This life according to how your neural pathways, your strengths, your passions are set up in your brain, designed in your brain. I don't see your name, but someone said transform 1 billion lives and minds. 10,000 points for whoever wrote that. I got a question. Have I ever tried Clubhouse? And yes. Would you like my feedback on Clubhouse? Let me finish my thought. So I was doing my podcast like everybody else, but I like action. I like engagement like this, right? And that lights me up more than an interview. And there's too many steps, you know. So I need to go live on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook when I do my podcast. And then that's my podcast, right? And then I could just click something and it posts on Spotify or something. I got too much stuff to do to be doing a 50 billion steps. Okay, my brain gets bored if I have too many steps in between. Like I lose my stimulation, you know, my passion for whatever I want to talk about. So I'm doing this podcast thing a little bit differently. So go like my YouTube, Shantae Javon Taylor. You're gonna find me, Neuroscientist. You're gonna find me. I'm like the only one on the planet with my name and Neuroscientist. And also like my TikTok. Okay. I need 1,000 people, y'all. Oh, Chevy, 10,000 points. Okay, Clubhouse. Let me tell you. So I have a love-hate relationship for Clubhouse. Clubhouse is very dynamic, especially if you are an audio person. I'm all of the above. I love to learn all the ways. Okay, I don't let my brain just, you know, deteriorate by not claiming a sense for this human experience, right? I bring it all to the table. I'm a whole brain human, a whole brain learner, a whole brain entrepreneur. Okay, so, but it's very dynamic for Clubhouse. It reminds me of old school learning, like audio books, right? CDs, and listening to people on the radio, right? And you're more engaged in a way, just without the distraction of looking at somebody like you're looking at me, right? So it's more intense. However, it is a time suck if you are not conscious and aware of your time, right? And then in the beginning, you put all this great content out, right? And then it just goes away in the ether. No thanks. I did not appreciate that because I like my content to exist forever. So that was a no-go. Another thing about Clubhouse, I mean, I know they changed it, but they changed it too late for me because I already formulated my opinions. And it was too much planning and too much coordination to set it up. Then you have to go live. Then you got to make sure your people show up, and then you got to ping people in. And it was no. And then you have to reset the room. Oh, I was resistant. Like, nope, count me out. There's too much. I just want to talk and go into content. Okay. And if people come up on stage, sometimes they would go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. It's like, oh, okay, rein it in, right? And then there was a lot of clicks, and then a lot of people. It's a lot. It's a lot. It didn't resonate with me for me to keep staying on Clubhouse. I just wanted to show up and do this, just train, right? And not have all this stuff. But it works for a lot of people. People are able to get their ideas across, and people are able to get a lot of business from it. There's a lot of people who, made money by saying, hey, let me teach you how to do Clubhouse, just like they do, any other platform. I hope that answered your question. Let me know if you have any other questions, because we are talking about technology and its impact on the neurotechnology. The neurotechnology is the ultimate technology. Our brains are unmatched when it comes to CPUs, okay, and the amount of memory that it can hold, the amount of connections that it can make, the wisdom that we can glean out of our brains and experiences are unmatched, okay? But we have to learn to use our brains better. We have to actually understand how our brains work to be able to use it more dynamically to move this human experience forward. So some of the things I'm going to be talking about on future episodes of Coffee with the Neuroscientist is neurohealth, like what's going on in the neurohealth world, and how that's impacting our brains, how that's impacting communities, society. I'm also going to be talking about social media, more in regards to how that is impacting our psyches, our neurotechnology. Is it enhancing it? Is it detracting from it? For example, right, the study came out about Instagram and its impact on teenagers, right, and their self-esteem, their self-worth, their mental health. And so that's important information to know and understand and get it out there and make sense of it, but not just get it out there and make sense of it. Let's talk about solutions. Let's talk about what we all can do in our households, in our schools, to make sure that we are growing in our wisdom, right? Along with how we use technology. That's what's wrong with technology today. I love technology. I love all things technology. I think it's going to make us better humans eventually, but our wisdom is not evolving alongside or at the rate of the technology that is being invented. So I am going to be that guide on how we can responsibly and ethically and wisely integrate technology into our world without losing our humanity. Can I do that for you? Can I do that for y'all? All right. So I'll be talking about technology, social media, and everything I talk about, right, is going to be through the lens of neuroscience, neuro perspective, widening your perspective, deepening your understanding of this human experience so you can intentionally use your brain, intentionally use your prefrontal cortex, intentionally use technology in a way that doesn't strip you of your humanity, of your focus, right? So we got to be able to do that. I'm also going to talk about like new technology that's out, because there's a lot of technology that I like to read about or that's coming around the bend. And I get all excited. I want to talk to someone, but I also want to analyze it and talk about the impact it can have, but also what things to look out for as well. And so, those type of things light me up. I'm also going to talk about, of course, neuroscience and coaching and leadership, because that's my jam, right? That's what I do in the OptiMind Institute, training coaches and leaders in understanding the brain so that they can be more powerful and effective and transformational and all that good stuff. I'm also going to talk about neuroscience and business, like neuromarketing, neuroeconomics, because all that, everything comes down to this. There's nothing in this human experience that doesn't eventually come back to how we think, how we decide, why we do what we do. I mean, this is the center of this human experience. And if we don't start taking it seriously and learning the impact that everything is having on our brains, we're going to lose our brains. We're going to go back, really. We're going to go back to our primitive selves versus advancing to our highest selves. That's the downloads that come to me as I continue to study the brain as it relates to this human experience. And that's really what separates me as a neuroscientist from a lot of other people who are talking about neuroscience. They may, just be talking about what to eat, nutrition in the brain. Those are important. Yes, nutrition in the brain. And then, deficits of the brain, or just here's the research. And I'm going to tell you about, all the stats and data behind this one study and take, 2 hours to tell you. We need more integration, more application, more reality about how to use neuroscience effectively, right? You wake up with your brain every day. So you can become more powerful in how you use it, more intentional on how you use it every moment of the day. You can design your brain for the life that you want, for the society that you want, for the creation that you want, for the business that you want, how you want to show up as a parent, as an educator. Oh, I'm going to talk about neuroeducation too. I'm so excited about that. I did a 40-minute training on just the power of the adult brain. I mean, I could have geeked out for a whole day, whole workshop on that, but that's for another time. So there's a lot of things that I want to talk about on my podcast. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to have like segments and hot topics and a neurotechnology or a technology section. So another technology that I'm looking forward to speaking about is about AI, artificial intelligence. That's the future, y'all. It's now and it's the future. And I'm so excited about it because it's going to allow our brains to operate faster. AI to me is kind of like when humans discovered how to cook food. And what do I mean by that? Well, when we were hunter and gatherers and we learned to cook the food, that means the cells, the plant cells, were able to be broken down because, there's that cell wall that's chewy and it's hard to, get into the insides of the cells of plants. But when you cook it, you break down that hardened cell wall, and now you have more of the contents from those cells. You have more energy from those cells. Now you don't have to expend all kind of energy on what? Hunting and gathering. So now you have some more hours of your day. Now you have some more sunlight of your day. And guess what? That's the time to explore. Our brain loves to explore and figure things out. Okay, and that's how we became more and more advanced. So AI is going to be able to do the same thing for us. It's going to give us more time to evolve into our higher selves. Okay, now there are some issues like anything else, right? AI, there's bias in AI, right? When it comes to like reading faces, right? There's studies that show there's bias in how they read faces of color, right? And so we need people in these industries looking at these biases and the ethics of using technology and looking at what technology, what the possibilities are, but also what the pitfalls can be, right? How is it going to impact humanity? How is it going to impact society? How is it going to impact, communities? We need people looking at these things. So one of the things that we do at the OptiMind Institute is we are starting to research the things that need to be looked at. Okay, so I'm actually bringing in my trained coaches and leaders to do some of this research. OptiMinders, we're going bigger, so that we have this data and we can tell the story around the data and put it out in the world so that people have better decision-making abilities, better compasses on what to do, or how to use this technology that we are conjuring up, right? Because we know what happens when technology goes unchecked, or if technology is just for financial gain, right? It gets corrupt. And so that's the danger zone of technology growing at a rate faster than our humanity, faster than our wisdom. So God has put it in me to be that one on this part of our human journey, to have this this type of the passion and interest to help humanity. And everybody has their own reason of why they're here and what their strengths are and what their passions are. And this just happened to be mine. And it did take a long time for me to realize that this is what I'm supposed to do with neuroscience. I started in the clinical world, right? Diagnosing Alzheimer's, dementia, TBI, and all that stuff. But I knew that there was a bigger why, a deeper way to, or a more powerful way to use neuroscience in the world, as I would continue to learn and evolve and understand myself, right? So I'm also going to be discussing that documentary, Fair Play, about the invisible work of women, and the mental load and the load, the mental health load it has taken upon women, and how has it impacted our opportunities, how it's impacting our relationships, impacting our finances, impacting even our kids' development. Okay, so I'm going to do that in like a 3 to 4 part series, because it's a lot to break down in that documentary, Fair Play. So I'm going to be talking about that. And I have a few groups, y'all, Facebook groups. So depending on how you want to learn from me, if you just want to learn about your brain and how to use it more powerfully, I have a Facebook group called Optimize Your Brain. Okay. If you want to learn how to talk like this, how to infuse neuroscience into your trainings and your coaching and your leadership and your workshops and your books, like hundreds of my students, then you're going to go to the Art and Neuroscience of Coaching and Leadership, or you can go to Monetize Your Mind. Okay. Because I have a few programs for each one of those. Okay. Right now we're enrolling for Monetize Your Mind, where I help you to create content for your program. I actually help you to create your content instead of just saying, hey, create your content in 2 days. I teach people to create masterpieces from their genius, and that takes more than 2 days or a weekend or 5 hours. Okay. And then I use my own personal frameworks based on the brain, neural frameworks, so that people can put their expertise in, their genius in. And then after that, after they put it out in the world and they give feedback, we continue modifying it for 6 months. And then once we have enough feedback and once we know it's powerful and transformational, and I also amplify it with brain science, by the way, the strategies in their programs. I personally add the science to their program, making it Very different from any other program on the planet. Okay, so they can really differentiate themselves from other people. But not just that. Wait, there's more. After that 6 months, I will certify their program. So it will become OptiMind Institute certified. So now they can go in organizations or put their coaching programs out in the world and say, hey, my program is powerful, transformational. It's been vetted by actual neuroscientists. A neuroscientist actually put these neuroscience in it for these strategies. So we know it's going to transform human behavior, and it is certified by the OptiMind Institute. So that is the program we're currently running. Monday's the last day to join, and then we're moving on to our other program, which is certifying coaches and leaders in neuroscience. So that's two different programs, okay? So once Monday is over, we're moving on, okay? So if you don't get in this round, I don't know what to tell you, because this train is leaving. Monetizeyourmind.com if you want to look at more of that or see the breakdown of what happens, how the creation process goes. If you still want to watch the masterclass I did for it, it's called 5 Mindset Shifts You Must Make First to Successfully Monetize Your Mind that's both sustainable and honors your genius. That masterclass is going away on Monday as well, if you want to watch that. And that is a free masterclass for you. So you can get more insight on the power of monetizing your mind. It's not what you think. I'm not the person that says, create a course and make $1 bajillion. It's deeper than that. We go deeper than that because I'm trying to help you to extract the best of your genius. Okay. And that is very methodical. And if a neuroscientist can do it, I don't know who else can. But it's a very powerful masterclass, even if you just watch the masterclass. All right. But I will say the next time we run Monetize Your Mind, it won't be 5K. It will be 7,500. And then the next time it's going to be 10K. Okay. So it's just going to keep going up because I personally use my brain to amplify your program powerfully with neuroscience. Okay. And then I have to go through your program to make sure, it follows a journey, that it is powerful, that it flows, right? Before it actually gets certified by the OptiMind Institute. And the beauty of it is once I put people through the Monetize Your Mind program, I can then refer their programs to organizations because I can't go into all of these organizations and train. I'm one person, we have a few people on the team, but we need more people with programs in different niches that we can refer to organizations that, we essentially got to turn down because there's only so much bandwidth we have to go into these organizations and train. So I'm building up vetted neuroscience-based programs that OptiMind can refer out to. Okay. Same thing with our OptiMind certified coaches. We are working on partnering with companies, organizations to contract our OptiMind graduates certified or trained in neuroscience to be coaches in these industries. So there's a lot happening, a lot of moving pieces. Sign up. You could go to my website, ShantaeTaylor.com, and keep updated on all that OptiMind Institute is doing. I also want to share that I'm doing a secret launch. So if you are in my Optimize Your Brain Facebook group, they're the only ones that's going to see this particular offer. And this offer is a secret coaching, group coaching membership where we are coaching you, your mindset and your life and your profession with our brain-based coaches, with our OptiMind coaches, and myself. I will be coaching as well, and in a group setting on a monthly basis. And it's going to be a small investment every month, so that you can have the brain training to optimize your life and help you to navigate this life more effectively, more powerfully, more sanely. Okay. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this, and I've been wanting to do it for a while, is because I stated earlier when I started this live stream, there's a lot of barriers to therapy, getting therapy. And I've trained a lot of therapists in our OptiMind neuroscience program, by the way. Because for whatever reason, they're not training on neuroscience for therapists. I don't understand it, but we're going to move forward. So they come to my program to learn the brain science, to infuse into their therapeutic strategies. But I also am aware that there still are people who have some barriers to getting to a therapist. There's a therapist shortage, right? There's cultural barriers, there's financial barriers. There's people who, I mean, if you're struggling, if you're stressed out, just thinking about all you have to do to get to a therapist, it can be daunting, right? Making the phone call or doing the search, and then you have to wait for people to call you back or email you. It's a lot. It is a lot, right? So our Optimize Your Brain membership coaching program is kind of like that conduit between people who are going through it right now, because there's a lot going on in our world, stressed out and may have depressive like symptoms, right? Or maybe they just want to be able to perform at a higher level as well, right? Because it's all about optimizing your brain and your life. You could come into this program, and if you feel you need therapy, we can help you with that process, right? But maybe you just need some life stressors that you need to talk about, right? Or deal with. Our brain-based coaches are equipped to help you navigate this complex human experience. Okay. And so I'm confident about being able to do this because they are trained in the brain. Of course, I am trained in the brain, right? So it's not a substitute for therapy, because not everybody even needs therapy. Some people just need coaches, right, to go to the next level in their lives. So, but it can serve as that bridge between getting therapy if you need it, but also just everyday people who don't want to get certified as a neuro coach and neuro leader. They just want some coaching. And one of the reasons I decided to do this as well is because a lot of people are in my messages. I get a lot of emails. Can you coach me? Can you coach me? I cannot. I only have so much bandwidth, basically, right? So this will be more efficient. Creating this program, this membership coaching program monthly, that will give people access to my brain and the brains of my certified coaches, so that you can get the coaching you need just to deal with life, to navigate life, to have a more thriving human experience. You're welcome. All right. I think that's all I want to say. I have to get back to work. A lot of work today. So I am looking forward to the new format for my Coffee with the Neuroscientist. I'm very excited. My brain is excited for this new way of doing things. It just resisted doing it how everybody else does it. So go like my TikTok, Shantae Taylor. You'll find me, Neuroscientist_coach. And go like my YouTube, Shantae Javon Taylor, Neuroscientist, because I need to get to 1,000 followers so I can go live for my Coffee with the Neuroscientist podcast. Can you do that for me? Thank you. I'm trying to empower 1 billion minds, people. Help the cause, help the mission. Let's get to our humanity faster, because we're losing ourselves. We're going in the wrong direction, right? Remember, tell people about 988, the suicide prevention hotline. It's national. Get the support that you need. It's time. It's been time. And I can't wait for us to keep evolving. And I want to be part of that journey of this human experience. All right. You have had coffee with the neuroscientist. Remember, when you better your mind and better your brain, you will better your impact in the world and for humanity. Until next time, talk soon.